Hello, ladies, and welcome to another edition of Menopause Made Easy with Tanya, your go-to podcast for navigating the wild and wonderful and sometimes wacky world of midlife. And here is where we come to it with grace and strength and a lot of honesty. So today's episode is one that is close to my heart and maybe yours too. I've been in this industry for over 30 years and I've helped a lot of women in regards to losing weight, which if you've listened to me long enough, I like to refer to as losing fat. We don't want to lose muscle mass or bone mass, right? So especially in midlife, many of you are getting some weight gain, and I want to talk about five real reasons and then give you, I always wonder if I make these choices, what do I look like in 5 to 10 years? And if I don't make these choices, what do I look like in 5 to 10 years? So at the end, I'm going to give you two scenarios with Linda and Susan, one who is going to take this advice and the other one who is not, and just see what little changes they have to make and where they are in 5 to 10 years from now. And I've said this before on this podcast, but I definitely know had I not made some of the changes that I have made over the last 20 years specifically, that I would not be where I am today. I believe that with all my heart. So change is always possible, and it's good to be empowered about maybe what is going on so that you can listen and see where you need to make some tweaks. All right. So especially in midlife and menopause, we don't need to be getting midlife belly fat and feeling frumpy and lumpy. It's not 100% your fault, but there are definitely some things working behind the scenes that may be causing this. So we want to address them today. We're going to break down these five causes of weight gain that have nothing to do with willpower and everything to do with biology, hormones, medications, your brain. And I was inspired because I listened to Mel Robbins and she had a guest on, Dr. Rocio, perhaps, or Rocio Salas-Whalen, and she's a double board certified endocrinologist and one of the top weight loss doctors in the US. So I always like to hear, well, what are they saying? What are different people saying? Because just because one person says something, I like to get a perspective. And that's what I bring to you in this podcast, is just to get you to be more curious and compassionate and really find out what works for you. All right, so let's listen to what she has to say. All right, so I've written down 5 points. But if you've looked in the mirror lately and you've really just thought, like, what is happening to my body? Why is this happening? I believe I'm doing everything right now, and I'm not getting the results that I want. And please stick with me because you're not alone and you are not to blame. All right, so let's get into this. So one of the causes, again, that is going to be just because we're getting older, which is amazing, is that we're going through hormonal changes. And so we're definitely in this hormonal roller coaster. And one of the things that is happening is that our insulin resistance is changing. Let's start with hormones. During perimenopause and menopause, as I've said many times before, our estrogen level drops. That's a fact. We're not changing that. We're not going to have the estrogen we had in our, teens, 20s, and 30s. But what most of us are not realized, we're not told, is that this shift of this estrogen dropping also affects insulin sensitivity. And I've talked about this before, and this is where I can tell you, had I not dealt with the emotional, social, habitual, physical addiction of sugar, and I don't mean eating sugar out of sugar bowl. Sugar's in everything. They add it to products, they add it to salad dressings. It's everywhere. So you really have to be educated. I have a 30-day added sugar detox, which is really great. You can check that out. And it's to really, they're the exact steps I took to reduce added sugars in my diet. All right. And so it's crucial that we address these added sugars and look at our sugar intake from alcohol, juice, pop, salad dressings, anything in a package. It's everywhere. And then plus maybe the sugar that we know we're eating, like cookies, cakes, muffins, etc. When your body becomes more insulin resistant, it means your cells don't respond to insulin as well. Your body pumps out more of it. And guess what high insulin levels do? They tell your body to store more fat or just store fat, especially around your belly. Let's look at this. You cannot stop your your estrogen from dropping. That is going to happen. What you can control, okay, is can you start to improve your diet in regards to reducing added sugars and the sugars that you know about. This isn't about overeating. It's about a metabolic shift that is completely out of your control unless you address it from a lifestyle perspective and maybe some medical intervention. All right. So this is about the food you're consuming. So I have a guide called five hacks to cut your cravings. They're the things that I did. Again, it's a freebie to help you reduce your sugar spikes. Important. All right, so that's tip number one. That tip number one is that our hormones are changing and it's making us more insulin sensitive. And we want to decrease our sugar so that we become more insulin resistant. Okay, did I say that correctly? I believe so. All right. The second one is that you may be taking some medications, all right? And maybe we're not talking about, like, there's so many medications, but maybe you're not realizing that the medication you're taking is affecting your weight. So this could be your antidepressants, your antipsychotics, your steroids, your insulin, beta blockers. All of these can cause weight gain. Did you start to notice when you were taking these medications any changes in your weight? Or, like I like to say, you might not notice the number on the scale changing, but you're feeling fluffier and puffier. Okay. All right, so Dr. Salas-Whalen emphasizes that for many women, the very meds they need to feel better are contributing to weight gain. So this doesn't mean you have to stop taking your meds. It means that you recognize that weight gain isn't always about food or exercise. Okay, it could literally be the medication changing how your body stores energy. And this is chemistry. This is not a body flaw. So have a look at the medications that you're taking. See what the side effects are, see if it's influencing your weight or your fat distribution at all, and then you can decide from there what you would like to do. Another cause of weight gain is your brain chemistry. This is your reward system that could be getting hijacked. And this one, oh my gosh, could blow your mind like it blew mine. But and we've talked about this in podcast episodes, but it's always interesting to hear it from a different perspective. But Dr. Salas-Whalen explains that for many people, especially those struggling with obesity, the brain's reward system becomes rewired. So the same dopamine pathways that light up with drugs light up with certain foods, especially ultra-processed snacks, sugar, and fat combinations. And trust me, there is billions of dollars that go into the foods that are put on the shelves for it to have its bliss point so that you cannot stop eating them. All right. And this is why I'm a big proponent of, if you do want something sweet, can you make it yourself? And then you're not putting in any additives or chemicals. And then perhaps, like I went through a whole raw food adventure, perhaps you start to make them healthier and you just start to change your taste buds, all right, to crave things differently and whole food. And one thing I am just loving is, get a big juicy medjool date and put some pecans in the middle and eat that. It's delicious. Once upon a time, I was the person who would finish my lunch or whatever and have, 6 cookies or 8 rhubarb squares, even though they were homemade. Store-bought stuff does nothing for me, but I've really had to, over the years, either not make things or really step into how is this affecting me. There's certain things I cannot make. I just cannot make it. I'm taping this in June, and we've got just gone through rhubarb. And I chose not to make things with rhubarb this year because it's mostly sugar. And I make the best rhubarb coffee cake and the best. Now, I'm not saying I'm never going to make it again, but this year, sorry, I have like a bug on me. This year I decided I am not going to make it. So anyway, there are choices that we have to make. All right. So, again, this doesn't mean that you're broken or that you're addicted, even though I was addicted because sugar is very addicting, but it means your brain is doing its job, right? Trying to make you feel better, because a lot of those times I was eating was not because I was hungry, but because I was trying to fix a feeling. So I've had to really work on that over the years. All right. So our brains get hijacked by modern food. It's just a reality, something to be aware of. And then, like I just mentioned, when you combine that with stress or fatigue, with hormone shifts, emotional eating, it becomes a cycle. And I was stuck in this cycle for decades. And what happens is when you're feeling blue or sad and you have 3 cookies, then eventually you need 6 cookies to feel happy, then you need 9 cookies to feel happy, and it can get a little out of control, which is what happened to me. All right, so this is not you're not a failure. I wasn't a failure even though I told myself that. It's not because of willpower, nothing, nope. It's a neurological loop that can be broken, but it starts with understanding. And I've talked a lot about this. I wrote it in my book, Cookie Dough in the Dark. All right, that food is meant to, the molecule more, that cookie was good, bliss point. Well, let's have another one. Let's have another one. Some of you may not have this problem. Maybe it's with alcohol, maybe it's with potato chips. It's all the same. It's all sugar. Okay. And it doesn't mean that you don't have the willpower, you're not a failure. It just means you have to understand that's how your system is wired. How can you get out of that loop? Okay, so the next cause could be where you have lost weight and then gained it all back and even more. And I see this quite a lot with people. They've come, they've told me they lost weight, they gained it, they lost it, they gained it. And I really work to do small, sustainable shifts done consistently over time, working on the physical, the maybe the chemical addiction, the habitual, the social. Like, you really need to address all those things. It's not about controlling food. All right. But some of us, maybe you've heard of this. There's this theory called set point theory. And it's when your body has a built-in weight range it likes to stick to. And if you lose weight, especially quickly, your body senses danger and it slows your metabolism, it increases your hunger hormones, and it literally tries to get you back in your safe zone. Again, this isn't your fault. It's your biology, and your body is hardwired for survival, not just for smaller genes. Okay, so one thing I've explained to my clients over the years is just because you're ready to lose weight doesn't mean your body's ready to release that weight. It needs to feel safe. Okay, so you might be doing all the things right, but some of us are like, I'm doing all the things right, but it's not happening fast enough. And then you give up. I see a lot of people give up. That is when your body is like, I need to believe that you're going to continue with these small sustainable shifts. I need to feel safe inside. This isn't about quick weight loss. This is about Small shifts done consistently over time and addressing the mental, the physical, the emotional, the habitual, all of those elements, right? Not just resisting that food that is taking you down. So that's why so many diets fail in the long term. They fight your body's natural systems instead of working with them. So what I do with people is we work with your system. If you're in a hurry, I'm really not your person, right? I will give you the lifestyle changes that work for you in this time, and you will adapt to them, and then you will build on them so that you become a different person. And that person is going to shed weight when the body feels safe. I know this for sure. I know it. So many of you, though, want that fast weight loss. It comes off and it comes back on. And I've seen it so many times. Okay. So there is a way to work around that. The other cause could be one that was that's really important, which I was stuck in this for a very long time. And it is shame. And I did a podcast episode. I don't remember what number it is, but go to the top and put in shame, and it should pull up the episode. And shame keeps us quiet. Shame keeps us stuck. Shame makes us believe that if we just tried harder, ate cleaner, worked out more, we'd be thin and happy. And when you can get past this shame, wow. When you start talking about your hidden eating, the fact that you ate half a box of Oreos, that you went to a bakery and ordered 6 desserts and ate them, okay, that you made a pie and ate the whole thing, that you used to make carrot cake and eat most of the batter before it went in the oven. Okay, I don't even care about those things anymore, but once upon a time, I definitely did not want to share that, and I kept it to myself, and I was in a shame spiral. All right, and so Dr. Salas-Whalen is very clear, and she says obesity is a chronic medical condition. Sometimes it is not a choice. It is not a moral not a moral failing. And yet society and even some doctors still treat that it's just about self-control. And it's not just about self-control. Listen, I'm telling you, I have wanted to unwind so that I can be vibrant in my energetic, vibrant journey. All right. It is not about self-control. You cannot override biology and your brain. And this needs to change. We don't need to feel shame. So talk about it. Get somebody who is compassionate, helps you understand curiosity and compassion and grace for yourself. All right. And it starts with conversations about this. So looking at those 5 things. And when we say no more blaming ourselves for what it is, we need to look at, like, stop blaming yourself and look at the metabolic conditions that I really try and explore in this podcast. All right. So I'm going to tell you what you can do now. But first, I wrote some notes over here about 2 women. And I'm going to have my head this way for a little bit just so I can make sure I stay on track here. But let's say that they're both 57 years old. There's Linda and Susan. Okay, they're both smart, they're capable, they've spent most of their lives putting others first. Their kids, their careers, their aging parents. Now they've hit midlife, and they're noticing some midlife weight gain creep on, and their energy is dipping, and maybe their old diet and exercise combo isn't just cutting it, it's not cutting it anymore. Okay, so we're going to take these 2 ladies, and we're going to take one, let's call her Susan, and we're going to see how her life changes by listening to the things that I talk about in my podcast. And then we're going to take Linda, who doesn't, and just listen and see which one is you. And maybe you're a little bit of both. Okay. So Susan, she loves to listen, she loves to learn, and she likes to take action, no matter how small. And I'm telling you, the smaller the better. Simple or small hinges swing big doors. So she hears the episodes today, and she's been listening to the Menopause Made Easy podcast, and something clicks. Okay. And she's like, oh my gosh, this isn't my fault. I don't need to try harder. I don't need to eat less. I don't need to, work out and kill myself. Right. She's like, oh my gosh, maybe it's time to get my hormones checked. Maybe something's going on there. Maybe I need to, no, she does. She learns about insulin resistance, right? So remember the 5 tests I told you to get done. So she actually phones up her doctor, gets her hormones checked, finds out about her HbA1c, etc. She learns about insulin resistance. She starts eating more protein, right? She actually cuts back on some of the ultra processed food. She starts to sleep better. She starts to move her body in the balanced approach that I say to do. She really starts to listen to herself. And she builds a beautiful health team around herself that supports all the elements of fitness and health and well-being. And more importantly, she stops blaming herself, which is something I did about 25 years ago. And she chooses compassion and grace and curiosity. Okay. And over time, she builds her strength, she builds her balance, she gets mental clarity, and she starts feeling more like herself again. Okay. Fast forward 5 to 10 years from now, and Susan is maybe 62, 67, and she is feeling magnificent. Okay, her muscle mass is preserved, her risk for diabetes and heart disease is down, she's got more energy, she feels more confident, she has freedom in her body, she's traveling, she's playing with her grandkids, she's walking on the beach without pain, she feels strong and steady in her skin. Okay, this would be somebody like me who I've taken this, I've planted the seeds, I've watered some have sprouted faster than others, but I keep still watering the other ones. I am a changing human. All right, now let's take Linda. And she's the woman who keeps doing what she's been told for decades. And I see a lot of Lindas. I see a lot of Lindas who phone me up and they say, Tanya, I can't get down on the floor and play with my grandchildren. I can't garden like I used to. I'm in a lot of pain. I'm carrying around this extra weight. I feel horrible. I can't stop nighttime eating. I can't stop drinking. And then they just cannot get themselves further than that. So Linda is hearing the same messages as Susan, okay? But she just shrugs it off. And she's blocked somehow, or she doesn't trust herself, and so she keeps following the old advice. And I was just out with some people and they're following this advice. It's just crazy. But anyway, um, that's their journey. And she's cutting calories, hardly eating anything. She's skipping meals. She keeps blaming herself for gaining weight. She doesn't know her blood numbers, okay? She doesn't know what her insulin is. Her sleep is getting worse, but she doesn't know how to fix it. And she's overwhelmed because she's not giving herself permission to get help and support. All right. And she's gaining more belly fat. Her energy is tanking. And she goes to the doctor, and the doctor says, just keep trying harder, like eat less, move more, or this is just aging. You gain weight as you get older. That's just what happens. Not true. All right. And so she does. She keeps blaming herself. She's like, I got to cut more food. I got to work out harder, and nothing works. And then she starts not going out as much because she doesn't feel comfortable in her own skin. Her knees are hurting her. Her joints are hurting her. Her muscle mass is declining. Her confidence takes a hit. Now, 5 to 10 years from now, when she's 62 to 67 years old, she's on more medications. She's frustrated. She's disconnected from her own body. And maybe she's pre-diabetic or diabetic. And worst of all, she still believes it's her fault. And she's really stuck in the message that is still going around there. Okay, so you have two women, same age, same potential, but one chooses knowledge and empowerment and education, and the other stays stuck in outdated beliefs and shame. All right, and so Maybe you see yourself as Linda, maybe you see yourself as Susan, maybe you see yourself as in between, but this is where awareness comes in, some really, looking at yourself honestly. And again, this isn't about perfection. This is about making small, aligned choices that your future self will thank you for. So, who do you want to be? Because today, right now, you get to choose. You get to choose. You do. You get to choose what you want to do. So, what can you do? All right. So, here's a first few steps that you can take. And, I've said these before, and Dr. Salas-Whalen also is saying them, but she's like, get your labs checked, especially your insulin, your glucose, your thyroid. Get those checked. Where are you? Don't wait for them to get worse. There's so many things you can do to help with prevention. Eat more protein at every meal, especially breakfast. All right. Reduce your ultra processed food intake. It's garbage. It's literally garbage. Ask yourself, why am I eating this? Why am I eating this? Okay. I want you to focus not on dieting, but your health and your metabolism and your mitochondria and feeding your beautiful cells. Then move your body, everybody. That's the name of my studio. Move your body in a way that feels good to you and not punishing. And I'm telling you, the ladies in my Age Strong and Mobile classes are loving it. That come and see me live in person, and then my Vibrant Living Academy, which is online. We have fun. We have fun. Exercise should be fun. And we lift heavy weights sometimes, and you can still make that fun. So find something that works for you, whatever it is, wherever you need to start, and just change your mindset, because you're building muscle, you're building bone, you're helping every cell in your body. All right. And then maybe you need to ask your doctor or a functional medicine a provider or whatever about, some strategies around weight loss and taking the shame out of it, or, you know, get a health coach like myself and really dial in your lifestyle habits. Okay. And then the last thing is notice your self-talk. Stop blaming yourself. You are not lazy. You are not weak. You are a woman living in a body that's changing, and you deserve support, guidance, compassion, not shame and beratement and judgment and negativity. So those are 5 things that you can start to do today. Menopause is hard enough without carrying extra weight, literally and emotionally, of diet culture and misinformation. If you've been struggling with your weight, please hear me when I say it's not your fault. You are not alone, and there is hope and help, accountability, support out there to take out the overwhelm, to get you on the path that you want to be on. And if you found today's episode helpful, please share it with a friend. And if you want more conversations like this one, hit that subscribe button. Join me next week for some real talk and some real support. And before I go, I just want to say that one of my team members is this little device. It's called a Vibe from Rizona Health. And think of this as your energetic healthcare team. Oh, there you go here. And basically, it's a PEMF device, personal electronic magnetic frequency. I hit the on button, and as we were recording today, I was running a brain balancing program. You can do an anti-aging program. You can do earthing programs. You can do PMS programs. You can do brain fog. You can do sleep, wound healing, weight loss. Oh, there's a weight loss one on here. TMJ, tinnitus, tendinitis, sunburn, stop smoking, shingles, resolve, relax and balance, PTSD, prostate, PMS, neck pain. So those are just some of the programs. Migraine, low back pain. Okay, love. I'm going to run the love program right now. I'm going to put it back here. So I've talked a little bit about this device before. I've had Mark on my podcast. We did a great episode together. But if you want to explore how frequency-based care can support your menopausal journey and save $150 at checkout with the code Vibrant150, go to Resona, RESONA.health/vibrant-living, and or check out the show notes. It should be in there. Put the code Vibrant150 to save $150. I have 2 of them. I run them a lot. And if you want to listen to Mark and I, please check out that podcast or check out the website. All right. Thank you, ladies, for listening. Please subscribe, share, and I will see you in the next episode.